I really didn't get into fishing till 1976. Donna and Eddie Montesson, they were my inspiration with fishing, and they took us out to Chappie, and Eddie caught a bonita. And I remember, like, in my mind, he took one cast and caught this beautiful bonita, but he was probably like casting for 3 or 4 hours. I was just like, I thought that was the best thing I had ever seen. Wow, this is like a miracle. You throw this little thing out into the ocean and you catch this fish. That was my first inspiration of fishing. So I was like begging all the guys to take me fishing. Nobody ever would. But I tried to just hang around on the jetties and watch people. Dick Curwell, this guy Dick Curwell, he told me to get a Rebel, what's called a Rebel. It's a really light plug. And that was my only plug that I had for the longest time. And I'd go out on the South Shore, and these guys were casting like, they were getting out there a mile. Southwest wind blowing in my face, and I'd, as hard as I could, and the plug would go up in the air and land at my feet. I couldn't even get it in the water. And then finally I go, snap my plug off, my one plug, and I'd have to hitchhike back. So I'd go out and buy the same damn plug. I mean, it took me a while to figure out that you have to have a heavier plug for the wind. Oh my God, I was just clueless. Nobody wanted to talk to me. The big-time fishermen didn't want to talk to me because I was a woman, and because back in those days it was about selling fish. There was one woman, her name was Eileen, I think it was Eileen Henley, but I remember her driving up to Wasky Point, and she had a sandwich, and she was going to go out to Cape Hogue for the night, and she was by herself. Oh my God, that was my goal. I thought that is the best thing. That's what I want to be able to do, that, to just like have a sandwich and go out to the other end of Chappaquiddick by myself. Other than her, I didn't really know any other women bass fishermen. And the guys, they didn't think that a woman could fish like I fished. I never wanted to just be a good woman fisherman. I wanted to be known as a good fisherman. Not a woman fisherman, but I wanted to be accepted by the fishermen. And it took a lot of years, but I think I finally gained their respect. And I don't think it was about catching fish or how many fish I caught or how big catching a couple of big ones, and, that's always a feather in your cap. But I think because I became a fisherman, they saw me out there in the rain and the dock, and, they knew I was out putting in the time. And that's all that it is. You got to put your time in. So I think I finally gained some respect. I remember being a gayhead one time, and it was after the Derby, and it was cold. I had worked all day, and I went to gayhead, and I was all by myself. And I remember I had like a Twinkie, and I had some squid, and I was sitting on my bucket, and it might have been raining, and I was like so happy. Boy, this is heaven. You worked hard all day, and here you are. I mean, gayhead. It's a big cliff behind me, and I got a Twinkie, and I'm fishing by myself. But what happened that night? I had caught a couple of bass, and so I knew there was some bass. And all of a sudden, I caught a dogfish, and I forgot to look. It was a spiny dog. A spiny dogfish has a big spine on its tail, and I went to take it off the hook, and it went around, and it jabbed my wrist, and it just missed my veins, so I was bleeding. The only rag I had was like my old squid rag. I remember it was like, it really ruined my night, because I sat there for a while, and I had been so happy eating my Twinkie, and all of a sudden I realized, you know what, I don't want to sit here and bleed to death, so I went home. So I learned a lesson that night. Always check your dogfish. Make sure it's not a spiny dog.